Welcome to all students in this my YouTube channel. Now students, we are in the chapter of electrochemistry, and in our last lecture we have seen the electrolytic or ionic conduction. That point we have cleared in our last video lecture. Now students, in this our lecture, now we are going to see the next part of this chapter is information provided by measurement of conductivities of solutions. Now students, look at this picture. You will notice that A1 arrangement which is made, and the output of this arrangement, you will notice that the lamp which is connected with it is glowing. Now students, electrolytes plays an important role in the conduction, or we can say the transformation of electricity, or for generation of electricity, or to get output as a voltage. We are making all these arrangements. Now this is a simple arrangement as shown in the above diagram. Now the lamp will glow when circuit is complete. Now look at this picture. In this picture you will notice that two electrodes are placed along with the solution, and a non-conductive frame is fitted at the beaker. Now students, when the switch is on, lamp will glow. This is the simple theory behind this diagram, and for this what we are going to make, prepare 5% mass volume solution of cane sugar or acetic acid, sodium chloride and urea in distilled water. Check the electrical conductivity of these solutions using the above assembly, and prepare these with that observed with distilled water. Now when you are using different kinds of electrolytes, you will get different observations. In that, if you are using sodium chloride, the electricity generated will be more, or we can say the lamp will glow with high intensity. Instead of that, if you are using urea also, you will get a different observation. For distilled water, you will get different observations. For acetic acid, cane sugar, you will not get that much intensity of light. So these are the different observations which you are going to make. So this is an try this experiment. For extra knowledge, we have mentioned, State Board has put that try this in your textbooks. Now beyond this students, we are going to see the what is the role of what you can say the non-electrolytes. The conducting and non-conducting nature of solutions can be identified by measurement of their conductivity. Sucrose and urea do not dissociate in their aqueous solutions. The conductivities of these solutions are nearly the same as that of the water. These substances are called non-electrolytes. Now students, here in these experiments, as we are going to use the urea solution instead of what we can say the serially we are going to take the different electrolytes. In that, if you are using cane sugar and acetic acid, these are comes under the category of what we can say the non-electrolytes. Means the intensity of that bulb which is glowing, that much intensity you are not getting as that of the strong electrolytes. For example, sodium chloride, ionic solutions like that of KCl. So these are the strong electrolytes. Now students, on the other hand, substances like potassium chloride, acetic acid, sodium hydroxide, HCl dissociate in their aqueous solutions. The conductivities of their aqueous solutions are higher than that of the water. This is the very important point you should take into account. These are called electrolytes. Electrolytes conducts electricity in molten state or when dissolved in water. So this is the important point behind this try this experiment. So this is the difference between what we can say the electrolytes and non-electrolytes. So students, on the basis of high or low electrical conductivity, electrolytes are classified into strong and weak electrolytes. The substances which has ionic salts, strong acids or bases are almost completely dissociated in aqueous solutions. These are strong electrolytes. The solutions of strong electrolytes exhibit high conductivities. In nature, some electrolytes are there in which if they dissociates 100%, then they conducts more electricity, and we are calling them as a uh, electrolytes, or we can say the strong electrolytes which dissociates completely. But some solutions or some uh, solids are there in which they when they dissolve in water, they will not dissociate completely into its corresponding ions. As we are going to say ions conducts electricity, then as the ion formation is less, in that case we can say that they are the non-electrolytes, or in another category that we are going to make is nothing but the weak electrolytes. They dissociates, but they will not dissociates 100%. They are called as a weak electrolytes. So these are the two categories which we are going to see in detail in the next point. The weak acids and weak bases are weak electrolytes. They dissociate into very small extent in aqueous solutions and show lower conductivities than those of strong electrolytes. Now students, one thing you have to remember very well, that is electrolyte is a compound that conducts electricity when molten or in aqueous solution and breaks down into ions during electrolysis. So this is a very important point you have to keep into your mind and very well remember this point. Now students, in the next point we are going to see the next part of this chapter is nothing but electrical conductance of solution. We have already seen the resistance, and the reverse of it is nothing but the conductance. So we are going to take the help of physics here now. According to the Ohm's law, the electrical resistance R of a conductor is equal to the electrical potential difference V divided by the electrical current I. So according to Ohm's law, the relation we can show is nothing but R is equal to V upon I, or V is equal to IR. This relation you already studied in your last standard or in previous standard also. The SI unit of the potential is voltage and that of the current is ampere. The unit of electrical resistance is ohm, and which is denoted by the symbol omega. Thus omega is equal to, we can say, V upon A, or we can say V into A inverse. The electrical conductance G of a solution is reciprocal of resistance, is nothing but we can show its relation as a G is equal to 1 upon R. Equation number 5.2 represents the electrical conductance. Now according to the Ohm's law, as we have made the relation for resistance, here we can also make the unit of electrical conductance. The SI unit of G is Siemens, denoted by capital S, which is equal to the ohm inverse. Means instead of Siemens we can also say as a ohm inverse also. We write S is equal to ohm inverse is nothing but A upon V is nothing but C into V inverse V raised to minus 1 S raised to minus 1, which also gives the same information, or both the relations are nothing but the same, where C represents the coulomb and the unit of electricity related to the current strength in ampere and time in seconds, as C is equal to A into S. So this is the relation behind it. Now students, we are going to the next step, that is electrical resistance of a conductor is proportional to the length L and inversely proportional to cross sectional area A. Therefore students, resistance of a conductor is very important thing to calculate the conductance. Means before going to calculate the conductance, we should know about the resistance of any conductor. Therefore R is R is directly proportional to L and inversely proportional to the A, or we can say R is proportional to the L upon A. Now students, this proportionality sign, instead of it we can take it as a rho, which is called as a proportionality constant, or we can also say it as a resistivity. You should underline this sentence, right? What is meant by resistivity? At that time you can write its definition like this also. It is the resistance of conductor of unit length and unit cross sectional area. Means suppose if you have a rod, its cross sectional area should be A and its length should be L, that we have assumed. So this is the relation by which we can determine the resistance of a conductor. What is the SI unit of resistivity? So students, you can also determine the unit of resistivity as you have got or you have known all the factors which you have used in this equation. So by that you can also calculate. This is the task for you. So you can calculate it by your knowledge, and you have to mention it into comment. Now students, we are going to see the next part of this chapter is nothing but the what is meant by conductivity, and how we can calculate the conductivity of any solution or electrolyte. We have seen that the G is equal to 1 upon R, and R is directly proportional to the length and inversely proportional to its cross sectional area, that we have already seen in the previous equation. It therefore follows that G is directly proportional to the area A and inversely proportional to the length L. So here the equation will becomes G is inversely proportional to L and directly proportional to the A. Why this is happened? Because R value that we have already seen here, R is proportional to L upon A, that we have used, but here to calculate the conductance we have made the relation G is equal to 1 upon R. So all the factors will get you will get here inversely proportional. So G is proportional to A upon L, means that equation get reversed, means numerator becomes denominator, denominator becomes numerator. Or you can also write that equation by taking the equal to sign at the place of proportionality sign. We are using here the proportionality constant K, and that proportionality constant we are calling it as a conductivity. Therefore, according to this relation, we can say that G is equal to K if length and cross sectional area of a conductor are 1, that is unity. Means if area will be 1 centimeter square and we can say that length will be 1 centimeter, then its relation will become G is equal to K. Thus the conductivity is the electrical conductance of a conductor of unit length and unit area of cross section. In other words, we can say that the conductivity is the electrical conductance of unit cube material. Conductivity of a solution of an electrolyte is called electrolytic conductivity, which refers to the electrical conductance of unit volume. As I have already mentioned, if you want to put their values, so at that time we can say that its volume will become 1 meter cube or 1 centimeter cube of solution. Now students, after this, if you are going to see its relation, then it will becomes equation 5.2 and equation 5.4. From that we can write K is equal to G into L upon A. As G we have taken 1 upon R, so again here I am putting the value of G is 1 upon R into L upon A. Now combination of equation 5.3 and 5.5, you will from that you will get, or you can observe both the equations. From that you will get the value of K is nothing but 1 upon rho. Means you can say that K conductivity is nothing but the reciprocal of resistivity. As we already seen, the parallel quantity of it is nothing but conductance is nothing but the inverse of resistance. Like that, here conductivity is nothing but the inverse of or reciprocal of resistivity. So this is the proof of that equation which we have derived. This equation may be asked in an exam for 2 marks. also. Now students, the units are very important things. So units of electrolytic conductivity, now we are going to calculate is nothing but length we are measuring in SI unit as a meter, and common unit is nothing but centimeter. And if you want to calculate the area, area will be meter square and common unit will be centimeter square. And students, resistance is ohm, common unit is also ohm. Conductivity is nothing but ohm inverse meter inverse, or we can also write it as a Siemens meter inverse. And the common unit is nothing but ohm inverse centimeter raised to minus 1. So this is all about in our today's lecture, students. Now in our next lecture, the next part of this chapter we are going to see is nothing but molar conductivity lambda. Thank you very much.